This may come as a shock to you, and I want you to brace yourself. There are queer characters in Welcome Home. I know, it's a hard pill to swallow. As such, I'd like to turn everyone's attention to an odd pair of characters that I think has been a bit overlooked thus far. No, not that one. Warmer. Aha! Bingo! Howdy and Barnaby. These two are often in close proximity to each other, forming quite the symbiotic relationship. Howdy gets a daily returning customer and a half, and Barnaby gets his fix of whatever food or beverage catches his eye that day. And generally speaking, Howdy seems to delight in Barnaby's naturally provided entertainment. Great friends, great characters, great big heaping helping of queer tension that underlines just about every aspect of Welcome Home. Let's talk about it. There's a handy-dandy list of content warnings for Welcome Home provided by the creator themselves, and among this list is good old-fashioned homophobia. We've already seen very slight hints of it throughout the website's own verbiage, and the desperate push for Julie and Frank to be viewed as a couple by the audience. However, homophobia can take on many forms, one of these forms being internalized homophobia. The Welcome Home show aired from roughly October 11th, 1969, and ended at some point in 1974. Not the best time to be queer, though. Is there ever really a good time? So there's already an outward societal push to be straight at all costs, and this mentality influenced at least a few aspects and undertones in the story of Welcome Home so far. Internalized homophobia is a nasty son of a bitch that can manifest in many ways. One of these ways is trying to avoid being the gay stereotype. Anything near being over-emotional, showing feelings, being artsy, all that good stuff is wiped completely off the table of the things you want to be. So I don't think it's entirely a coincidence that Howdy not only has a strong distaste for Ladder, his loudly poetic and emotional brother, but also doesn't seem to like Eddie all that much either.
Sorry, I think I might have overestimated how much to bring in a time, Howdy. No.
No kidding. Say, Ed, how about you give my goods a break from your fumbling before they turn into bads?
Yeah, sorry about that, Howdy. I guess I'm just in a rush today. I'm a little behind with my delivery run.
You don't say.
And wouldn't you know it, Howdy is very business-oriented and seemingly one of the more self-sufficient neighbors, which is a good thing in theory, but in practice, all the guy ever talks about is his damn bodega, and I'm willing to bet that this level of self-esteem is very much tied to the store. The better businessman he is, the quicker he can get that sale, the better he feels. Again, great when things are going well, but what about when they aren't? I'd also venture that there's an interlocking aspect of toxic masculinity layered oh so delicately inside the internalized homophobia as well. You know who Howdy really seems to gravitate towards other than Barnaby? Sia, Bia, and their two kiddos, Howdo and Udo. Maybe I'm reaching a little, but ain't it just a funny coincidence how Howdy has a deep appreciation for the nuclear family within his gigantic caterpillar convection current of a family? Maybe I'm overthinking this a little bit, but look, all I'm saying is if Howdy has internalized homophobia, me and like 60% of the fandom all called it before it happened. Oh yeah, and this is just one aspect of the aptly named laughingstock dynamic.
Caterpillar rave.
Barnaby and Howdy play off each other pretty flawlessly when interacting, and interact they do. Quite a bit. In one of the secret bug videos from a previous 2023 update, we get a glimpse into a conversation between the two of them. Howdy notes that he can always talk to Barnaby, seemingly confiding to him about more personal matters, such as family drama, temporarily letting off the gas of his hard drive salesman approach.
I know I can always talk to you, Bon. I tell ya, having a big family ain't easy. You wouldn't believe what happened next. My brother Chuck wished our brother Buck good luck on getting that clock Henry to straighten up and fly right.
Fly? Wait. He's a butterfly? I thought he was a caterpillar.
They have a few minor commercial spots together, which could mean nothing. And they're seen together at home warming and in the Happy Haunting record. In Happy Haunting, not only does Howdy beeline it for Barnaby as soon as he shows up to Sally's place, but he also cries into Barnaby's arms at one point.
Now come in, you two! We're just about to begin the festivities, and you're our last guests!
Well, don't I feel special? Almost makes it worth closing the store early. Is that my favorite regular over there? Gangway! Available now for only 100% off!
Barnaby patted Howdy on the back as the caterpillar cashier cried into his shoulders.
Barnaby also shows up at the end of Howdy's holiday hullabaloo, mostly for a gag, but it definitely adds to the list of Howdy and Barnaby encounters that we have going so far.
Hey, Howdy. I've been walking around all day long, and boy, my dogs are barking. Mind if I wet my whistle, and...
Hiya, Bon!
Woof.
I'd also like to take a sharp left turn into Sweetbrier for a moment, because there is something minor in there that could either mean absolutely nothing, or literally everything. This page spread. Many an image has been memed from this looky-loo in particular, and I've seen people finding the florography flowers across all new books in the April 2025 update. But what I haven't seen is anyone take a good old-fashioned crazy person squint at this one. The first thing that stood out to me was this flower. Couldn't for the life of me identify it, and though it bears a little bit of resemblance to a red tulip, it's just a fantasy flower most likely. But it seems to be placed between Howdy and Barnaby. Not directly though, it's on Howdy's side of the page spread. Now, this could just be to improve the overall page composition or something. Could it be a metaphor for Howdy's repressed queerness? Also, yeah. I don't think I have to explain the Howdy actively pushing Barnaby away part, but you know what I did notice while writing this script, actually? Fuckle your skeet belts. In Sweetbrier, Howdy is wearing a lavender pendant on his neck. You might be wondering what the fuck that has to do with anything. And I'll tell you. Purple is one of the rarer colors in the color scheme of Welcome Home. I'm sure it's been used in minor capacities basically everywhere, but the most notable appearances of purple are the lavender around Eddie's post office, and the lavender Eddie is wearing in his hat on the forefront of the current April 2025 update. So it's not a stretch to wonder if this has some kind of rainbow connection to Howdy. But the real kicker is this. Guess what's hiding in the Begone Thought page spread? You'll never believe it, but that very same lavender pendant covered up by Howdy's arm. I'd also like to bring attention to the fact that when Clown Coffin was asked directly if Howdy can turn into a butterfly, his answer was as follows. Let me find it. We all have the ability to grow, yes. Maybe this was a literal answer, but I'm wondering if Howdy has an overall change in perspective about himself and the others around him, and that's where this is all truly heading.
He thinks you're gay. He thinks I'm gay?
I had an entire long segment involving the excerpts of dialogue off of Away from Prying Eyes. I originally thought that they were in, like, longer... Because it was weird. I was looking at them on mobile, which, never look at the Welcome Home website on mobile, it just fucks everything up. Basically, they aren't actually lumped together that way, and it only took me looking at desktop to kind of figure that out. The bottom line, what I was looking at was incorrect. Now, what I did end up finding was very interesting, to say the least. So somebody brought up Barnaby and Howdy are seen together very often, usually like when Barnaby is not with Wally. Synthetic Charm VA made it a point to bring up that like Howdy and Eddie did in fact have a tape together, which like, yeah, they do. I mean, it was slightly involving some of the other neighbors. So yeah, like Howdy and Eddie do interact like very sparingly. The thing that I thought was interesting though overall was that Synthetic Charm went out of their way to kind of point it out. Now, this on its own, you know, doesn't really mean anything, but I started to pair this with other things I had noticed. In the little like pixelated separator for the website, we can see all of the characters, and it's funny because it actually matters where they're looking. There's a big emphasis on which direction their eyes are facing. Wally's eyes are facing the audience. Sally and Poppy are looking at each other. You know, that could be just them being best friends or something else. Eddie and Frank are looking at each other, which definitely has some implications there. Julie is looking at Frank, which could mean that she does have some kind of romantic, like, feeling for him in some capacity. And wouldn't you know it, Howdy is situated directly by Eddie, and he's also looking at Eddie, and Eddie is looking away from him, of course, because Eddie is looking at Frank. Now, that I found extremely interesting. So I am at this point wondering if Howdy has some kind of, I don't know, like some kind of crush on Eddie that's just not destined to work out. Even going beyond that, in the guest book scribbles that the W person kind of went through and was looking at all the data in all the scribbles, there's one page where there's a little doodle of like Howdy, and then there's a doodle title of an envelope around somebody named Eddie, and the accompanying text has, I think it just says like howdy worm or howdy something, and then it has like there's no dialogue with it, and then the same thing, there's like a letter with no dialogue with it. So I am wondering if he sent Eddie a letter or sent Eddie a message somehow, secretly confiding his feelings. I don't know, maybe that's me like way reading into everything, but it's something that I thought was worth mentioning at the very least. Yeah, I know this is kind of the Howdy x Barnaby video, but I really can't talk about one without the other, you know? If you stuck around for this long, thank you very much. I'm definitely planning on doing more Welcome Home analysis videos, as well as, you know, Bendy and all that good stuff. Maybe some murder drones if I get a chance, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Thank you for the support so far. It really, really, really means a lot to me. I have a Ko-fi if you want to throw me a couple bones. You certainly do not have to. I'm also working on a comic called Inner Ink that is still in progress, but if you want to catch up with it, I have a Tumblr specifically for Inner Ink. That is in my card in the description. Really need to get a regular video schedule. Anyways, Archer Casey, signing off.
This is not the first time rumors about me being gay have come up. Twice before, actually. Just a weird coincidence. It was a little too weird. Almost makes you wonder if it's not a coincidence at all. Whoa. Which it is, of course. But it makes you wonder.